Lease purchase trap, trucking's legalized slavery, or what is it?
It's an opportunity for people to create their own business, right?
Here we go. So, before we start, what are two main lease purchase programs, and what are the differences?
All right, so they're pretty much going to be the same. The one major key factor is going to be a carrier offered lease to purchase program, and then you have like third-party vendors like Lone Mountain, LRM, SFI. If you know, that's another one, a spin-off of another mega carrier. However, you're allowed to move that truck. So you pay them directly. You can move your truck to wherever you want, and that's going to be the major difference.
All right, so basically freedom versus no freedom.
Yeah, freedom in terms, yeah, for sure.
I think I've heard one of those where you can actually lease purchase a truck, and then if you run, and we allow you to move a truck, but if you move a truck, the lease purchase terms are changing.
Yeah, for sure. So it can be either in the interest rate. You know, you can be like a really nice interest rate that it makes it reasonable, and all of a sudden the interest rate's going to adjust. Now check this out though. The payment weekly isn't so sweet, but that interest rate is going to jump to like credit card numbers in the 18s and 23%. That just legally you can move, but financially you're stuck. There's no reasonable movement that could happen. Another thing that they do is, let's say you can move the truck, but the new carrier you're going to has to sign up that they're going to deduct the money from your settlement and pay directly. So the payment has to come from the carrier. And usually what's going to happen is they may tie you up to where the carrier is responsible. Whether you're in the negative or not, I still got to make some payments. And managing that, most carriers are just not going to partake in that.
So you're going to be pretty much limited. So if we have to say, for the continuation of this discussion, let's just stick to the carrier based lease purchase, because these are the most problematic ones. These are the most likely to enslave you, and let's just unravel all that. So why would somebody even get into this?
Because, these mega carriers have a really nice sales tactic. And it's not that hard to sell, actually, because there's most individuals get into trucking because they want to, start their own business, own their own rig. And this puts them in the position to do that quicker, right? And once you walk into the place, they're going to say it's so easy to upsell, because they're going to say, look at all these rigs here. You can buy one. You're going to be dispatched by the same team. You're going to be touching the same freight. And as a matter of fact, you're going to be put on a special division of doing this dedicated customer, let's say. What they don't tell you, obviously, is at the end of your lease, in a few years, you own your rig. You're no longer going to have privia to that dedicated lane that you were doing, right? It's saved. That high-paying rate or high volume is intended to keep that lease to purchase program alive, right? Because those weekly payments, they're pretty steep.
Yeah, and I've seen some actually not very sustainable. Why would what would be the average money down thing to get into one of those?
Well, I mean, again, we're talking about carrier offered one. Usually there's no money down, no credit checks. Like that's how they sell it, So now you're actually targeting, man, is this borderline predatory lending and shit like that? Because you're targeting individuals. Let's say if you let's just be real, guys. If you don't have money down, right? You've been trucking for 3 years. You don't have money down. You don't have the credit. You know, as a business owner, you have to have some good habits. You have to have financial literacy. You have to be able to put things in a bucket, and that's the step one, right? How did you get there? That you're at zero and all of a sudden you're going to go to hero, owning a truck and all of that. So that takes discipline. That takes a little bit of evolving, but they're going to jump all over that. That's why in those programs, they force the maintenance out of you. They force how much you're going to pay for it. They're going to take away the plate. They're going to take away the insurance. They're dummy proofing it. Because why? They want to be in control, because the ideal candidate for their product doesn't have self-control.
So what is the failure rate there?
Man, I 90% easy. Like, if not, probably higher. I just want to be nice on this. I want to be nice on the show.
Just trying to be optimistic. So, do you think is that because of bad trucks, high price, habits of people, business model?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be all of the above. Like I said, education is king, man. We do a lot of we do on this podcast. We talk about things that you need to be successful, whether you agree with it or don't. It's gonna be you're running a business at the end of the day. So when they jump into the lease to purchase, it sounds great, but I mean, like just think about this, right? It doesn't matter. Pick the best time that you've ever seen this industry. Man, guys who are paying $1,600 a week for a truck, how is that sustainable?
That's insanity. Yeah.
It doesn't. Pick 2021 numbers. I don't give a shit. That's a lot of money every single week. So how did you ever think you're going to crawl out of that?
I don't know.
Right. So
it's a tough one.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like that success rate is very difficult because it's not designed really for success. You know what I'm saying? Like just think about it. That truck has a lifespan, right? Let's say a truck, you get 10 years out of it. So that's 10 years of this truck going from customer to customer to customer, $1,600, $1,800 every single week. That thing paid for itself threefold, at minimum.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then what does it do to the last guy? When the truck already had like 15 tries on it. And with all the damage, all the maintenance, negligence, and everything else done to it.
Yeah, and I mean, now you got people like stepping in to kind of regulate this carrier offered lease to purchase programs. I think it's pretty much a good thing, I guess. But at the end of the day, like, let's just be honest. Like, if nobody lines up, the program has to go away because there's no customers.
Holy crap! Is this real? $4,000 a week in this market, guys. This is not a joke. We got plenty of owner-operators in this market taking home $4,000 a week every single week. So if you're interested in something like this, we're located right here in Mulberry, Florida, just a few miles south of Lakeland. Give us a call, 863-342-5171, because $4,000 take home after all the expenses, that's nothing to laugh at.
It only exists because we line up at the end of the day. It's a voluntary program. No one's holding a gun to anyone's head like, you're taking this fucking truck. Like, no one's doing that.
So, yeah, because I see all the time, like in the comments and so on. Every time we talk about lease purchase, somebody jumps in, calling everybody a thief, a scammer, and so on. When in reality, like I'm thinking to myself, like nobody ever grabbed you on the street, pulled you into the van, and took you to a lease purchase place.
So I'm just saying, guys, I'm anti too much regulation. So that's the thing. Like, what's next? Like, hey, your credit score 640. Now someone's calling you where you can and cannot swipe your credit card because you just don't have discipline. Is that too intrusive?
Yeah, pretty much, because this is what they're pretty much asking for, right?
So I'm not saying that the programs are good. I'm just saying that I don't need another daddy to tell me what's good and not.
I agree. So in general, the lease purchase program altogether, too much conflict of interest?
Yeah, I would say that, because you have to design it. You're really not gonna. I think you're either a carrier or you're actually like a lease to purchase company. Like, you can't really be both. And like this hybrid, it's gonna be it's gonna go in someone's favor. Either just the rental side of it, the lease to purchase, or the carrier side. So I believe you're either one or you're the other.
I agree. What's the worst horror story you heard about lease purchase?
Oh man.
Something that would also have a chance to be real. Because somebody just screaming into the screen that thieves and scammers.
No, yeah. I mean, you're stuck with the truck and they lose the freight that was sustaining your truck. Because let's say dedicated work, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be forever. So a lot of these programs, what I've seen in the past, is they get created to gain market share. They need drivers. So how do you have to incentivize? Everybody's looking for drivers. So now you sell the dream, right? They know the success rate, but you just need momentum. You just need movement, because without movement, you have nothing. So now you have an influx of 15 trucks. You got an influx of 15 drivers. Right. So now,
do you think it's easier for them to sell 15 people the dream, even if it's going to last a month, than to seat 15 drivers?
Yeah, because really what you're managing, you're not just managing those 15 guys. You're going to manage, you're going to manage actually probably like 30, 90 guys, because it's going to be rotation. But you get to manage something. If you don't have the program, what are you managing?
So even if the drivers are coming in and out, in and out, in and out,
you're managing, and
as long as the trucks are on the road,
you're managing.
You're pretty much good to be.
So how many managers you need to manage 45 trucks against the wall?
It depends. It depends.
Like,
who are
all right,
those trucks?
They're still here.
All right. Well, so if you had to, guess, like, where do you think is this coming from? Is that coming from the big carriers desperately trying to recruit drivers, and because we are unable to recruit drivers and fill the trucks in a regular way, we become creative and we sell you the dream?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to think outside the box in order to make things happen. So some smart guy came up with the idea, and then it evolves after that. Because when somebody does it, it's not too long before everybody's piggybacking off of that. But it's just another ingenuity way to get more drivers onto a fleet, and that's pretty much how they do it. I mean, like just think about it. If you have a couple assets in the back, it's not really the time to sell, because you got better days coming to sell a unit. But you don't want to just park. So what do? You create a program and create some cash flow on that.
There we go. Put more trucks on the road, and I guess you'll the benefit of that, right?
Yeah. That's what it's intended for. And now, not just that, you grow capacity, right? So you seem that much stronger to the dedicated work that you're doing, let's say, or the customers, and now you're presenting a lot more that you want more. So now you can request more work, more lanes, different markets in different areas. So you look that much stronger as a carrier. Update, your MC150 to look a lot cuter, and now you're doing that. And for those mega carriers that have, those capital firms that, throw money at it, they say, hey, we went from 100 trucks to 200 trucks literally almost overnight. And now that you got some investors plugging more money into that,
and now it turns into the banking.
Yeah, because nobody's going to talk about the struggles like here, boots on the ground, and who's actually managing all of that. No one's doing that. They're just talking about surface level. What's important to them.
So, what do you think makes the cost of the carrier ran lease purchase program so much higher than regular dealer run lease purchase program?
Because all the risk involved. I mean, think about it. No money down, no credit check. You're pretty much just like you're putting a stranger inside of a truck. So it's the risk involved. So the pricing, you're going to hide it in the pricing. You're going to, maybe you keep your interest rate, I don't know, whatever, 2+ prime, who knows, whatever they're going to decide to do. But at the end of the day, it's in the pricing. It might be an overpriced truck, but it's the same as, a commercial loan giving you 18%. You just put it into the cost. So that cost and that risk has to pay off, man. It's just like a regular loan. Get an unsecured loan, the interest rate is a lot higher than if you put your house down on it, right?
Yeah.
Owner-operator partnership is very real. I got tons of guys who are making $4,000 take-home. Learn how you can do that by giving me a call at 863-342-5171. We are conveniently located in Lakeland, Florida. We are a Florida-based trucking company that is here to provide you resources to be successful. So once again, it's 863-342-5171.
I also think all the truck recoveries, the breakdowns,
and that's all part of it. That's all. I think that's all built into that price.
Because imagine this, like somebody who lease purchased the truck without any means to be an owner operator, goes out on the road, runs for 2 days, and then 1,000 miles later, something breaks. Nobody knows what. The individual freaks out. He has no skin in the game. He packs his bag, and he's back home at the mama's basement.
Mm-hmm.
And the carrier now has to recover the truck, recondition the truck, to do all these things to put that truck back again available for the next victim.
Yeah, for sure. But now if you understand purchasing power, you get yourself a little bit down payment. credit score's decent, and now you know you're not subject to all of this. No one's gonna treat you that way because you can pick a different path for yourself.
Yeah, this is something that I also was never able to understand, because I see a lot of guys inquiring about it, and when the biggest problem is the down payment, right? But sometimes the down payment is not even that big. Like, for example, I've seen like loan mountain down payments, like anywhere from like $3,500 to like $6,000, unless you're buying a brand new truck.
$20,000.
Then it's 20, yeah. But $3,500 to $6,000 as a down payment for a very, very decent truck, I do not think it's a very large amount of money. And knowing trucking intimately, I know that, let's say if you're a driver with, let's just say, at least 2 years of experience, what does it take for you to make that, $3,500 to $6,000 if you really want to take it to the next step? Probably, I don't know, give it a month or so, or let's say you obviously have your house payments and everything else, but just give it a little bit more than you regularly do, and in a couple of months you're gonna have that money.
Yeah, because man, that's the whole thing. Like the old rules: spend less than you make. That struggle has to happen for growth to happen, right? But I think a lot of times, man, these mega carriers are gonna, somebody went there for a company driving position, and you got a real savvy guy that knows how to sell, and walked out of there with at least a purchase truck, because here you go, man.
He works out with a classic long nose speed with all the chrome and and everything.
Only $1,600 a week.
And 3.5 fuel economy. Oh man, that's a bad day. So at the end of the day, I think the goal is to manage the money right.
And it has to be a thought out plan. I think a lot of guys fall into it. Sometimes they just jump into it because whatever situation they might be in, they're in between jobs or something like that, and hit a level of frustration. But you want to really think about this: is being an owner operator is that a real goal of yours?
I think it's there is a little bit of wishful thinking, like almost like childish behavior involved, because again, like many times I chatted with people online and so on, like so what makes you consider like that lease purchase program? And we would say down payment. I'm like, but look, the down payment out there is a lot, not very much more. Well, it's more. It's about like 100% more, but it's not that crazy big. It's not something that you cannot achieve if you're a good driver. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be an owner operator, and let's say if you're a driver who has been a driver for, let's say, 2 to 5 years, and you cannot save $5,000 for a down payment, do you think it's a good idea to get into owner-operator business?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said a little earlier that's where you should really be looking at. What are your habits? Why can't you? And just be honest. Like you have to be honest with yourself, right? Because you're about to jump into something that's going to require your dedication, and is going to require your attention and your habits. And if your habits aren't correct, it's not going to go well, right? Just because you fall into a boatload of money, you still have the same habits. You're the same guy. So you have to understand, like, why can't I put away 5 Gs?
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
So bottom line, carrier ran lease purchase program?
No go.
All right, guys. So hope you like this. Let us know, how did it go for you? Did you ever have you ever been in that situation? Did you ever try to lease purchase a truck from a carrier? I actually know one carrier that was leasing trucks to the people, and then something happened. That carrier disappeared, and then the people were walking around looking for their titles.
That sucks, man.
Man, that's a fucked up situation for real. Like, I think there are, like a lot of shady drivers out there, but there are plenty of shady companies too, man.
And I have seen a few people be successful with stuff, man. Like, that does happen too, but it takes extremely disciplined individuals to make that happen. So
absolutely. So, like, just think before you do, and count the money, and the math is not gonna lie, feelings will.
And you know what? Run that by someone. sometimes it takes that, man. Run it by.
Give Christian a call.
Yeah.
Give Christian a call. And be like, yo, I got this deal going on. What do you think? And he's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. Drop us comment on our social media. I'm most likely going to answer that one. And you're going to get all the information that you need. But besides that, stay away from carrier lease purchase programs. Do the right thing. And one last thing that I want to tell before we go. If you're a driver and you do have $5,000 in your bank account, if you do have $10,000 in your bank account, and the only reason you do not explore owner operatorship and running your own business, my opinion, you are in a much better place than a lot of other people who actually jump in it without thinking too much. Because fact alone that you are able to save money as a driver, if you're not gonna lose these work ethics and you're just gonna grind like you are grinding as a driver, you will be a successful owner operator. Because I see a lot of people kind of doubting themselves, but in reality, like you look at them and like, man, you got what it takes. I've seen to where owner operator, the dude works for an owner operator. Yeah. That owner operator doesn't have what it takes, but this guy who's a driver has what it takes. But
again, guys, it's just you got to know you, because in his mind, he's successful. There's just all shapes and sizes, and you got to be real with what do you want. If you're comfortable with saving, and in 2 more years you got 15 grand or 10 grand instead of 5, and that growth, other people are like, that's I'd rather risk it. I know my abilities, and I know it could be 45 in the bank.
Yeah,
so it's you got to know you. That's number one.
Absolutely. But it's always more fun to be an owner operator than a driver. You call your own shots, and for the most part, you hit the target. All right, guys, 863-342-5171. If you're an owner operator based out of Florida, give us a call. We got something special for you.